So, as you can tell, the polls were in, and only 7 people voted. I know I gave you guys really short notice, only like 2 hours. And that gave me even less time to be ready today. So I put all my effort into how I'm looking right now, instead of practicing for today's recitations. I'm not going to recite. I'm actually just going to read most of the stuff. And I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to get in here, to make it fair for everybody who actually wants to be a part of this and participate. I know a few people commented and contacted me, and they were very curious because I really hoped I could finish my book, but getting back from my vacation, as you guys know, I'm doing remote learning with my daughter, so that takes up a lot more of my time than I used to have where I could just read. So I luckily have a fallback for right now, that I have my original works. And so yes, the polls are in. I am in my first costume of Halloween. As my Twitter followers know, every day of October is Halloween for me. I am the queen of Halloween, and I'm proud of it. So today's costume is one of my favorites. Let me move my chair. This is, hi, Will, you remember how I am about Halloween. Anyway, so this is my favorite pirate getup. The thing is with this particular thing, this is my favorite corset. I wear it for pretty much everything, but this is actually a skirt instead of my old leather pants that I used to wear, because this is a little more authentic. Thank you. I love my hat. It took me years and years to find my hat. I feel so bad. You guys can't see me all the way. Oh, no, you can see my backdrop, though. Okay, so I'm going to stand back a little bit. I was not prepared for fashion show for you guys, but yes, this is my favorite hat. I got it at Ren Fair last year. But this is my favorite corset. I use it for a lot of different costumes that I do. And this right here is actually a pretty universal piece in my costuming repertoire. If you guys don't know, I cosplay a lot. I love it. And COVID has made it, thanks, Rose. COVID has made it really hard for me to dress up this year. So I'm going all out. Every Thursday, every Between the Pages episode, you're going to see a new costume. I was really hoping to show off my favorite t-shirt, my favorite Halloween t-shirt today, but the polls said otherwise, so maybe I'll let you guys vote on what my next costume is. But anyway, so this skirt is big enough to go over top of, thank you. This hat is absolutely perfect. It is real wool and lace trimmed. And this is a genuine, and that just hurt, genuine hat pin. Oh my god, I love it. I normally wear it like this, tri-corners, but I wanted to be sassy, so I just did one corner. Anyway, so yeah, this skirt is big enough for a hoop, but I did not want to sit in a hoop today, so you guys got straight skirt today. Anyway, so I'm gonna sit down. This is my favorite pirate getup. I am an awesome pirate wench. Ooh, if you guys wanna see me do my my Viking garb, I did it over vacation with my best friend, and it was wonderful. But I also have a mead horn, which I love to death. Oh, it's great. Oh, so hungry. Oh, who's your new friend? There are no new friends here. You're all old hat. You know what it is. It was wonderful. I had such a good time. I'm gonna try and center myself. And then you guys don't need to see the top of my backdrop anymore. So there we go. All right. I do need a crew. You guys know who my crew is. Thorsenheim's definitely on there. Rose, you're a part of my crew. Renegade, always a part of my crew. Hitsu, I'm so glad to see you in here. So welcome aboard, as we say. Wheel, I'm glad you're here. Yes, I do have the captain's hats. But so we've got a few people in here. I'm really glad. I'm really happy. Sharing Halloween is a huge thing for me. I love having I just love having the energy, and I miss autumn all the time. Like, it has to be autumn all the time for me. And if you guys know me personally, you know that my house has been decorated for Halloween since my birthday. So yeah, I'm gonna calm down a little bit, and we're gonna get into my original works. We can continue to fangirl over my costume. I love it. I love my costume so much. This is one of my favorites. That's why I picked it. It's a little bit elaborate. Some of them aren't as like authentic as this one is, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to share this with you guys. All right, so I've got a couple of I got a couple of my published works here with me. I'm going to kind of like hide the publication's title just because, but I'm going to share them with you. One of them is really, really sad. The other one is kind of morose. I have actually found that I write a lot of somber things, so I am not SpongeBob. So you guys get a selection. You get a choice here. Do you want the kind of really sad one, or do you want the I'm really thinking about something and it means a lot to me, so. Oh, I'm so sorry. I really hope that I'm bringing some kind of joy into your lives. So, yeah. Well, I don't want to do the really sad one, but then we're gonna have to do the really sad one eventually. So, but I also have other papers that I've written, some scholarly works of mine, and you want to flip a coin? You know what? I'm just going to grab the one off the top, and I happen to know the one off the top is the really sad one. So, but while I read these works, well, not while, but after I read these works, I'm going to be able to discuss what went into creating them, some of my inspirations, some things that I was working through, and I think it's going to be great. So, welcome in, everybody. This is episode 6 of Between the Pages, and we are discussing my original written works. So here we go. We're going to start with it's a really heavy piece, and I want to preface it with this is something that I wrote when one of my really close friends was going through a hard loss, and this is actually a trigger warning. I wrote it when my close friend's wife had a miscarriage, and I was on the phone with her. I was devastated and heartbroken. So that night, after I got off the phone with her, I just sat down and I wrote, and you'll see when I read it, it was just a stream of raw feelings that I just needed to put into words. So, hi, Basker. Oh, goodness. This work is entitled, Am I a Mother? Red paint. Please don't cry. I'm sorry. There was no water. The air was dirty and the world is full. Green crayon. I cried for you. Silent and invisible, that red river stands still. Those oracles will never see, and I shall never hold you. Blue marker. She hurts for you. Her heart is swollen. Flowers bloom and wither. Wind is swift and fades. The sun rises and falls. Black ink dries on the page. So I did warn you guys, that was the really heavy, depressing one that I wrote, and I apologize if it brought up anything really bad for you, any painful thoughts, memories, anything like that. But some of the elements that went into it, like the red paint, the blue marker, the green crayon, I wanted to capture thoughts of little children, and I wanted to end with the black ink drying on the page, the black ink being a more mature, a more heavy element, but also representing that this was a final kind of act, a final, I'm not going to get to play with the red paint. I'm not going to get to write with the green crayon or the blue marker. It ends with the black ink and a pen. And that was really, really important that I got to get out. And yeah, that was published, I believe, in 2015. So I actually had written that, I believe, in 2009. So if there are any aspiring poets, writers, novelists, anything like that, if you write fan fiction, sometimes your works, they take a lot of time to one, get out, to be created, and then two, be polished and ready for people to see. And it's not even just that it's ready for people to see. It's I have a little bit of experience in the publishing world, and sometimes what you write, it's incredible, but it's not what that particular publisher is looking for. So either try another publisher, go with whatever tips that editor may give you, and yeah, that's been my experience, is to one, trust your editor. My all the editors that I've ever had, I trust them implicitly. Like, I'm like, whatever you say, I'm going to incorporate it, obviously in my style and my words, but I'm going to be like, you know what? They're in tune to what the publisher is looking for, what the market is interested in. And unfortunately, that's something that we do as writers, authors, whatever. That's something we have to contend with, is what do the people want to read right now? Maybe they're not ready for your work. So that's just something to think about. I'm really sorry that I had to begin with such a really heartful thing. I'm so sorry. I am now looking at the chat, so thanks guys. Oh, did Grav do something? I don't think Grav did anything. You guys are great. Thank you. Yes, I am definitely Captain Hook. I wanted to capture children. I have lots of nieces, nephews, and godchildren, in case you guys didn't know. So I capture children all the time, but I do return them to their rightful parents. Just like music. Yes, exactly like music, Basker. Exactly. Like, it doesn't just fall to writing prose pieces or. Oh, I'm glad. Have you read many of my stories? Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the deep, thoughtful one, and this might be a slight trigger warning, maybe, possibly, I don't know. This was written in 2008, I believe. It was my first year of college, and I was I was a performing arts major, theater major, whatever you want to call it. But I wrote, why am I wearing a corset? It's the first day of Halloween. I'm a huge Halloween person. So I decided, or my followers decided, that I'm going to be wearing a costume today, and I'm a pirate for the first day of Halloween. And exactly, Renegade, exactly. And yes, I'm a pirate. But yes, so in 2008, my first year of college, performing arts major, I took a creative writing class, and I learned a lot. I was a young kid. I think I was still 17 at the time when I first went to college. And I had a lot of learning to do. I thought I knew everything, and I'm telling you, my professor, and I hope he sees this one day, my professor, I'm not going to name names, but he opened my eyes to incredible things. Like, not necessarily just like all the classics that I should have already read, but being from the conservative kind of place that I was from, I wasn't experienced, and I didn't think outside the box yet. So, um, he gave us a writing prompt. This was actually part of an exercise, but my professor thought I did so well that I needed to submit it to be published. So he helped me polish it up, and I did. And what I'm about to read to you is the result of that. Additionally, the writing prompt was to write how an elderly man saw a barn after losing his son in war. And part of the stipulations were we could not mention war, we could not mention the barn directly, or not the barn directly, but we couldn't mention the loss of his son directly. But we had to describe what the barn now looked like to him after losing his son, even though he had been a farmer or whatever he was at the time for his entire life. So, okay. We do take Halloween to a whole new level. At least I do. All right. Anyway, this is a prose piece, by the way. It's a little different. Actually, I think most of my pieces are prose. I don't do a whole lot of rhyming. I feel constricted trying to rhyme, but I think people that can rhyme and make things hit home are vastly more talented than I am. So here is The Barn Is, written in 2008. Gray sunlight shadows the dull red barn on the swell of the hill. Rippled paint flaking off, splintering board walls. The barn is just a barn. Spiny hay covers the putrid floor. It's burning dust in the air. The barn just is. The horses in the stalls mock the barn. With the warm, deep browns and golds of their bodies and high voices piercing the heavy atmosphere. Heat ignites the licking flames, which devour not only the barn, but the horses. Their jubilant cries become callous screams. Then silence rises. Peace settles over the smoldering embers left behind. The barn is no more, but it is. The pale red paint still cracked and flaking, the wooden walls still splintered, the floor still covered in dry hay. Hot dust still plagues the air. And the horses, heads still held high, speaking clear and bright. The barn is a barn. It will always be a barn. Unless. So, like I said, this one was really heavy. Makes you stop and think for a minute. What do common everyday items look like after you've experienced a loss? And I'm almost certain everyone has experienced a loss here in some way or form. I can't and won't imagine what it would be like to lose my child, no matter what the reality of my actual life is. I can't even begin to grasp that concept. But I really hope that I conveyed what it would be like to face just a daily task after you've lost someone so close to you. Man, I'm really sorry that these things are super heavy, guys. I should have thought about this a lot more. I'm really sorry, guys. I wanted to share with you my published works because I'm really proud of them. Thank you. So those were heavy. I think hi Tracer. I think we should move on to heavy is real. I think we should move on to something a little more scholarly. Like I said, I have some of my undergrad papers because you guys might know that I am a professional librarian. I have my master's in computer information and library science, and I'm really proud of that. But my undergrad, and I am actually a Sigma Tau Delta, my undergrad is in English professional writing, and I did my focus on classic British literature. I am absolutely in love with it. So, I can't even. So, I have a few selections here that I share with a lot of people. And I think one of them that I'm really, really proud of is, and you guys are going to love this. This is great. This is going to go in with our October Halloween theme. I did a class and then I did a capstone on zombies. So you guys are going to laugh. You guys are going to be like, that's not a real class. That's ridiculous. You did know me near the, actually, you knew me in the middle of my undergrad. When we first met, I was in the middle of it. I had just finished my associate stuff, and that's why I was in your class, actually. So I took an upper level English course, an English literature course, and it was entitled Zombies in Film and Literature. This is yet again another place where I learned so much. I grew so much as an individual, as a person, and it opened my eyes because as consumers, we don't always see what's a message behind what we're consuming. And I really wanted to share with pretty much the world everything that I learned. And it was really important to me. I wrote a zombie capstone, and it basically encompassed, and this is, I really hope you guys aren't upset by this, but I used to not even want to be considered the word a feminist. I didn't want to be associated with this extremist, iconic thought and idea. And please bear with me. I know that this is a very polarized issue, and I hate that I have to talk about it the way I am, but I do, and I understand it. So I didn't want to be associated with these extremist ideas and iconic behaviors that you see and the media personifies, like, oh, feminists are all like bra burning and crazy and cutting off their hair or something like that. I don't know. I didn't want to be that. But then in this class, I'm telling you, it was in this class, I realized what feminism means to me. And I'm prefacing this a lot because it's really important to me. So I think the point, the actual moment that I realized that I was a feminist was when we were reviewing, oh my goodness, George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. I hope you guys are familiar with George Romero in any way, shape, or form. He is incredible. He changed America's, well, not even America, the entire world's perception of what zombies are, because George Romero made zombies icky and gross, and then he made them fast and terrifying. And I love zombies. So, basically, I talk about in my zombie capstone the evolution of the female archetype in zombie film and literature. So, this is really exciting. So, I'm fairly certain I start with George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So, George Romero, and this is off the cuff, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to recall everything. The Walking Dead is filmed near me. You are so lucky, Tracer. Anyway, so George Romero wrote, produced Night of the Living Dead, and I believe 1969. Ha ha ha, 1969. Anyway, unfortunately, due to some licensing issues and disputes, you can actually legally watch the full 1969 version of Night of the Living Dead on YouTube. And that's a fact because I've done it. And it's for real, legit. You can watch it and not get in trouble. Anyway, so George Romero had his original characters, and in the first rendition of Night of the Living Dead, his female lead, the heroine, I can't even recall her name at this moment in time, she basically went through this traumatic experience, and she was catatonic through the entire movie. Catatonic, completely useless. And apparently he was unhappy with this. So in 1990, he redid his movie. And instead of her being this like demure, scared, just completely useless character, he made her into this gun-toting, pant-wearing, short-haired woman who saves the day in the end. So, oops, spoiler alert, my bad, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know off the top of my head where you can see the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead, but I do recommend that you watch it, especially if you're a huge zombie fan like I am. I love George Romero's works. Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, everything amazing. If you want some really gross stuff, watch Day of the Dead. It's super gross. So, I'm going to get to it. Let me pull up my zombie capstone. It doesn't just talk about, oh goodness, that is just me talking about. One second. That one is the original one I did, because I did two. Like I said, I did two capstones. In the middle of my bachelor's, I did this for the class, and then at the end, there it is. Okay. At the end of my bachelor's, I did a zombie capstone. This is going to be a long read, guys, so please bear with me. I'm going to take breaks. We're going to discuss a little bit of what I have read. But other than that, let me pull it up here so I'm not just looking down at my screen like that. You guys with me so far? Is this good? Is this something that you're interested in? Because I'm really excited to share this stuff with you guys, and I'm really glad you're here. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys are digging this. Thank you. All right. So this is a full scholarly paper. So I'll read to you the abstract, and hopefully we can get on through that. So, all right. I do believe that I wrote this in 2017. So when I graduated with my bachelor's. It's entitled Evolution of the Heroine in Zombie Culture. Sweet, that was a much better title than what I said. Next emote, Captain Raven. Actually, my next emote, and I've, sorry, this is a sidebar. I actually have been in talks with Cosmic Irony. If you guys don't know, his commissions are open again. Yay. I've been in talks with him, and we're gonna get hoot hoot motherfucker soon. As soon as my mods decide between Barn and Screech Owls. Hint, hint. But besides that, he's going to actually do an awesome character of me for the month of Halloween, and I might use it beyond, and I'm super excited by it. Hi, Shake. What's up? Yeah, I will have him do Captain Raven, too. I will have him do it. It'll be this hat on my Raven. It's going to happen. All right, back to the task at hand. My editor's going to kill me, guys. He's really going to kill me. All right, so abstract. Zombies as a literary genre have impacted society's perspective on the status and capabilities of women through the years by portraying the evolution of the heroine as a prominent character in literature. The feminist approach analyzes how the representation of leading women in zombie films has evolved from the 1930s to present. Formalist criticism examines the horror genre and the significance of female characters to plot progression and conclusion in zombie works. The sociological approach observes the political and social progression of women in correspondence to the zombie works produced. There are certain characteristics depicted in the women in zombie films that exhibit the progression of women in society, such as their actions, clothing, and combat skill. The development of the specific character of the heroine for women to portray in literature can be directly contributed to the progression of social and political status women have obtained through the years. Holy crap, guys! I forgot how frickin' dry scholarly papers can be. So we're about to make this fun, just so we're clear. Ooh, TWAB. Somebody send me a link for the TWAB so I can read it as soon as we're done. You guys are killing me. Ugh. 13 viewers, let's go. 15 viewers now, guys. Holy crap. You're killing me. I have like 10 pages of this paper, so I hope you like it. Ripley from Alien was badass? Of course she was. All right. Evolution of the heroine in zombie culture. Let's go. Zombies have plagued the silver screen for decades as a thrilling indulgence in the dark realms of the horror genre. Just as the monsters themselves have evolved in literature from simple and mindless reanimated bodies to hordes of bloodthirsty apocalypse bringers, so have the roles of the characters that surround the zombies. Heroes have always played a crucial part of every film, book, and video game. But after many years of women only playing the roles of victims, the zombie genre in literature has embraced the character of the heroine. The development of this significant character for women to portray in literature can be directly contributed to the progression of social and political status women have obtained through the years, and the men that took the responsibility to exhibit them. The prevalence of heroes to heroines throughout literature can be observed in classic and contemporary works of zombie literature, where the evolution of the heroine can be traced from the first zombie film to the more recent zombie films and television shows. Heroines have evolved in the zombie genre from being merely decorative victims into dominant and life-saving characters. Thereby, heroines have gained prominence as women's social status has evolved from the 1932 film White Zombie to the 2016 movie of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. All right, guys, so let's unpack my first paragraph there. Holy crap, did you know that White Zombie, the 1932 production, was the first American zombie film ever? I don't know if it was in the world, but it was the first American one. So, did you know that? Yes, Shaken is the coolest guy around. Hi, Leslie. You have IMDb up? Well, White Zombie, by the way, is awesome, and it portrays zombies in the traditional sense, like the traditional Haitian sense. In case you guys didn't know, zombies are originally Haitian in origin, and actually, zombie was the Haitian goddess, I don't want to say of death, but in death. So if you want, look up that concept. It's pretty freaking cool. So, and also, with me finishing off the 2016 movie of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, if you have not seen that, you are missing out on life. So I'm a huge Pride and Prejudice fan, and adding zombies just made it that much better. And we're not even going to talk about the fight scene between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy because it's already hot in here, and my corset has nothing on hers, just so we're all clear. All right, moving on. Zombies as a literary genre have impacted society's perspective on the status and capabilities of women through the years by portraying the evolution of the heroine as a prominent character in literature. The feminist literary approach is used to analyze how the representation of leading women in zombie film has evolved from the beginning of zombie literature in the 1930s to present. I feel like this is my entire abstract, so I'm not reading that to you guys. Let's keep this family safe. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We'll keep it PG, but my entire stream is rated M only because I can't not cuss. I think I'm doing good though. I think I'm doing pretty well. All right, so we're gonna skip that since that was basically my abstract. This is not a nice Christian chat. I don't know where you got that idea, Rose, but that is not what this is. I'm sorry. We are heathens here. All right, so heroines in zombie literature, movies, books, and video games. Resident Evil. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I cosplayed as Jill Valentine in 2012, I believe. There are a few people who have those pictures somewhere, and I may or may not still have the costume. Not sure. So, yes. Most of my potty mouth friends. I like it. All right, so heroines in zombie literature possess the abilities and skill set to save themselves, their men, and the day just as well as any hero that came before her. Instead of these women remaining the helpless victims in their stories, the character of the heroine allows women to embody the virtues of courage and valor in the face of danger. The shift and evolution of gender roles in literature directly follows the development of women's social status in relation to the current society. Zombie literature began in America in the late 19th century and evolved into a genre that is carried on today. And that can actually be found in Caribbean Terrors, written by Russell. The ghouls and the caricatures within the literature have undergone many changes to their origin, as I have discussed before and probably will get into here. What do you got here? Yeah, well, see, I didn't just do a tube top and mini skirt for Jill. I have a very beautiful blue corset and mini skirt and really high black boots. So, yeah. Anyway, the 1932 Hollywood production of the White Zombie film adaptation produced in the zombie genre. White Zombie exposed the unsuspecting audience to new horrors that could consume all of their helpless, beautiful women of the world, and the heroic men that would have to rescue the women from the ghoulish monsters. The women of the 1930s were just gaining a comfortable occupation outside of the home in the wake of the Great Depression and the women's suffrage movement. The women in the cinema history were in the elite group of women that played their standardized roles of helpless women that were written by men. Women in literature up to that point were cast in limited and subservient roles in all facets of literature. Movies did not alter that image, and the horror genre made women victims. Madeline Parker, played by Madge Bellamy, was the female lead in White Zombie. This is the first time the world sees zombies, and they are after the beautiful and weak leading women of the movie. Also found in Russell, the zombie goes to Hollywood. Whew. I'm getting a little heated, guys. I get really passionate about where equality fits into our society. So, ooh, I want to read a fun fact. I did have a badass still. Oh, boo. Fun fact, I've seriously disliked everything zombies genre for years until Nessa gave me the mini version of this discussion a week ago. She caused me to question my perspectives. Go zombies. Alright, where are we at? The zombies featured in White Zombie are slow and mechanical in their movements. They are also slaves to their master that has cast a spell over them, and the woman is soon taken and placed under the same spell. The leading female character of Madeline succumbs to the zombie spell produced by the villain Murder Legendaire, played by Bela Lugosi, if I do not say it here. Bela Lugosi is a legend. Man, myth, legend. Anyway, during her wedding reception, where she simply screams and faints, only to later become a zombie. This portrayal of a young, beautiful woman so easily bending to the power and will of a man and needing to be rescued by her husband exhibits the position that women held under the will of men in society, especially how women were to be deferential to their husbands in the 1930s. The female lead characters in the 1930s film industry reflected the roles women were expected to uphold in society. White Zombie exhibited how women were seen in the social ranks of the 1930s. Yay. Whew. Holy crap. I can't read through that because that text goes right through a picture. Holy crap. How did I mess that up? So I'm not going to be able to read all of this because well, I'm going to try. I'm going to try very hard. Anyone have any comments, questions, concerns while we're at it? While I'm going to try and decipher this, I'm going to have to get like really close to my screen. No questions? Nothing? Well, if you have a question, I'll read it. This is actually a rather short paragraph, so. Many more zombie films were made after White Zombie, and all the while the leading ladies and their fates of falling victim never really altered in any way until George Romero decided to change aspects of zombies to become truly terrifying monsters in Night of the Living Dead. George Romero's 1968, damn, I thought it was 69. 1968 original Night of the Living Dead marked a significant change of zombies in literature. Zombies before Romero had been content to scare, strangle, or bludgeon their victims. Oh, but Romero made his zombies truly horrifying by having them eat their victims, that's eat, and create more zombies. The 1968 Night of the Living Dead features Romero's cannibalistic monsters and seemed to I can't see. Goodness, I can't see. Seemed to do something. That's all I got for you. All right, so the rendition of Barbara. Barbara's the heroine's name in Night of the Living Dead. The rendition of Barbara is not considered a heroine and this is the original, as she spends the majority of the movie in shock, and her only act of heroism at the end of the film is coming to the hero's aid and ending up getting herself killed by her zombie brother. Lame. Who was killed earlier in the film. However, the 1990 Barbara in the remade Night of the Living Dead is everything a heroine should be in films. All right. So, thanks for the ravens. Love ravens. All right. No questions, comments, concerns? 10 of you are still with me, so I guess that's good. Women from the 1960s to the 1990s had made huge strides in the social, political, and economic ladder. Women were pursuing more careers and higher education in unprecedented numbers than the women before them. In an attempt to reconstruct his lead female character, Barbara, to reflect this change, Romero focused his attention on issues of gender rather than race. Romero plays down the role of the black hero Ben, played by Tony Todd, in favor of transforming the character of Barbara. No longer the passive, near-catatonic victim in the 1968 film, she is now a proactive, gun-toting heroine, Russell says in the New Dawn of the Dead. The 1990 film emphasized the change of social status that women had achieved through the decades from the 1968 version of The Night of the Living Dead. While there had been other heroic women in zombie... Holy crap, this is going through another picture. Zombie films... before they were... Oh gosh, this is really dark. I cannot read this at all. We're going to have to skip this paragraph. I'm sorry, guys. But basically... 1990, Barbara kicks ass and takes names, and she doesn't die in the end. Spoiler alert. I really got to do the spoiler alert before I spoil it. My bad, guys. My bad. So Romero and Savini's 1990 remake of the popular film and the main female character, Barbara in The Night of the Living Dead, led to a more active and adept type of female caricature for other women to follow in her wake. Women in cinema were no longer only female leads. Now women in zombie films could be heroines. And that is actually something else I spoke about in another scholarly paper, is using gender specific words. We actually had this discussion. Thorsenheim, I hope you remember, we had this discussion before, and I cannot... it was between the words sorcerer and sorceress. So, yes. These are things that I felt were important to start incorporating in my own speech. So, there is that. I hope I'm not... heroin. Yeah, I'm not endorsing illegal drug use. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. Anyway. Caffeine is a bad word. Okay. All right, so women could now be heroines, taking part in the rescue and survival of themselves, as well as the people around them. This new version of Barbara represented the capabilities of women. Barbara emerges as the fittest to survive and is only one of the group in the farmhouse alive at the end of the film. Romero's portrayal of a strong woman surviving the night in the face of horror was a pivotal moment in zombie literature. Barbara was the first zombie film heroine to not only outperform all of her male counterparts, but to end up being the sole survivor of the group based on her skills. So, you don't normally think of that, but actually, it's something that's quite common. People have to actually specify that it's a female hero, as opposed to just using the word heroine. Actually, Thorsenheim, he emphasized my point when he and I were having a public discussion. It was on a public forum. We were being recorded. He said female sorcerer, and that's where I got to point out you could just use the word sorceress. You don't have to just specify, hey, this is a female fireman. This is a female airman, as it were, for me. I mean, some words are neutral, and that's great. But whenever you have to preface a word or a title with female, like female CEO, that's where I really want to enforce this habit of let's just keep it neutral. Or if you have the option, go ahead and use the female connotation there. But air woman, no, please do not ever call me an air woman. Ugh. Anyway, we're gonna move on. The 1990s redefined gender roles, both in literature and in practice in society. While the new millennium brought with it new expectations for how women were portrayed in literature, the iconic video game and film series of Resident Evil sparked a new generation of zombie consumers. The 2002 blockbuster Resident Evil gave audiences a strong and heroic woman as the main zombie-slaughtering protagonist, Alice. The early millennium work depicts a hyper-sexualized and combat-skilled woman clad in revealing red formal dress for Resident Evil. The emphasis of her feminine features is a common trend in recent depictions of heroines in literature. Take it or leave it, that's what we got right now, so sorry. Resident Evil's heroine Alice represents the evolution of women in the horror genre of literature during the course of the original film, as well as the entire film series. In the beginning of zombie literature, women started out as docile and even catatonic members of stories. They have come to be active, heroic characters in congruence with the progression of equality of gender roles in society. This is represented through Alice's journey in Resident Evil. Beginning as a fragile amnesiac, Alice was mutated by her exposure to the zombie T virus into a superhuman zombie basher. This was written by Russell in The New Dawn of the Dead. Her short red dress and brief nudity in the beginning does not impede Alice's ability to lay waste to the zombie onslaught in Resident Evil. Heroines in this era of literature of the early millennium are either portrayed as hypersexualized features or they are represented as more masculine than other female characters in the work of literature they inhabit. So that's something else I like to discuss. Female heroes having to really accentuate their sex-specific objects. Features. I'm actually going to go with features, not objects. Sex-specific features. So maybe that's a problem, maybe it's not a problem. It all depends because, oh gosh, I happen to really enjoy the new Wonder Woman. I really hope you guys have seen that by now. So her costume is excellent, and maybe it's because I'm biased and I grew up on the comic books, but like I feel like that was kind of historically, and like if you go with the mythos of it, the spirit of what her costume was supposed to be. So look at female armor in games. Yeah, that's true. I would love to read an entire book series written about Alice, so please message me that or share it with the class. I would love that. Renegade, what is with you? What is that? What does that mean? You're with, I don't know what that means. Alice is like my zombie apocalypse wife. Well, she would be great. Gal Gadon. Yes, she did. Anyway, let's go on to more contemporary works about zombies. 9 of you are still with me, so maybe I'm doing something right. The recent and ongoing 2010 to present popular television series, The Walking Dead, depicts the the predicted outcomes of a zombie apocalypse as it would affect gender roles in a post-feminist society. With the prominence women have achieved over the last few decades as social equals, the threat of returning to primitive states of society also threatens women's standing in the power structure. The first couple of seasons of the popular AMC television series The Walking Dead illustrate the regression to pre-feminism survival mode, an existence in which women and men have their distinct and non-negotiable roles. This is exhibited by a scene in the first season where all of the women in the survivor group are tasked to sit in a circle washing the clothes of the entire camp, while one of the men stands guard over them, smoking a cigarette. This regression of social rank in post-feminism women denotes the idea that women still cannot compete with their male counterparts outside of civilized modern society. Rose, I'll hydrate in a minute. I'm getting excited. I know. I will do this. It really did. Anyway. There are examples of exceptionally skilled women within The Walking Dead, such as the characters of Andrea and my personal favorite, Michonne, who are used simultaneously with men in the television show. Both of these capable women perform the more masculine duties of fighting and standing guard over the camps with their weapons in hand. However, Andrea is killed after having to choose between doing what is right by her friends and supporting her crazed male love interest. Don't we love that? Michonne is easily the most dominant and powerful woman on the show, but for so long as portrayed as more masculine than the other women. And remember, this was written a few years ago, so it's different now. Michonne is trusted as a leader nearly as an equal to the male hero. I love how I said male hero. That's hilarious. Rick, as Michonne's physical abilities are above that of the men. The strength and skill Michonne possesses distinguishes her from the other surviving female characters on The Walking Dead. So, yeah. Can you guys see any sort of bias I might have towards Michonne? She is great, and she's a hero of mine. So we're gonna keep with that. Yeah, that's how we're doing. Michonne's ability with weapons separated her from the female stereotype of being defenseless, but her feminine qualities were suppressed until all of the other suitable romantic interests were lost to the main hero, Rick. Ugh. Sorry, I'm not a huge Rick fan, but Rick, as the hero, is a suitable match for a strong female character like Michonne. The characteristics of a heroine like Michonne that include physical strength over beauty often defeminizes these women. In an article about classic comic heroine, her unattractiveness, which I don't agree with, Michonne is beautiful, and her sexual aggressivity combine to provoke wonder in the sense of doubt as to her gender. Yeah, that's super frustrating for me personally, but that's where we're at. Anyway, the pairing of Michonne and Rick could be seen as a way to stifle her ability to rise as the leader above the hero in the group. Pairing strong women with equal or greater skilled men is a common tactic within literature, and especially in the zombie apocalypse. The pairing of strong women with equal or stronger men during zombie outbreaks in popular cinema culture is not limited to contemporary portrayal. In one of the most recent zombie films to hit the box office, Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, it depicts a Victorian England consumed by the ravenous undead. The 2016 Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a revision of the classic Jane Austen story that includes an epidemic. Actually, it's not an epidemic. It was definitely a pandemic. I think I've learned the difference recently, and I'm pretty ashamed, as this was my undergrad of English, that was not caught sooner. Anyway, that includes a pandemic of undead facing 5 battle-ready Bennett daughters with the martial arts skills that rival all of the male zombie killers in the film. This is an example of a zombie film that does not detract from the physical beauty of feminine qualities of the heroines and continues to focus on their abilities as warriors. However, the most prominent of these powerful and capable women are paired with equally brave and skilled male companions in the movie. Yeah, but I still love Mr. Darcy, so I'm not even mad. I should be, but I'm not. Sorry, guys. The romantic pairing of the heroines to respectable zombie slayers in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is the only concession of the heroines' independence as Victorian women. Elizabeth Bennet says, I shall never relinquish my sword for a ring. Charlotte, her best friend, says, for the right man you would. Elizabeth Bennet retorts with, the right man wouldn't ask me to. And I love that so much. So, yeah. Never gonna put down my sword for a ring. You can do really bad things to yourself. Anyway, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is the culmination of decades of zombie literature and the efforts women have put forth to be seen as physical equals to the men around them. This film adaptation exhibits the beautiful and elegant women from the classic story of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, but it gives them skills and ambitions to do more than just attract husbands to take care of them. Oh, excuse me. The contemporary depiction of these Victorian heroines makes them skilled in combat and weaponry in order to eliminate the zombie threat on the world, beside or above the skills of the men beside them. Through the decades of the presence of zombies in film and literature, there has been a distinct power struggle to portray women in accordance with their status in society. The early films of White Zombie portrayed women as weak in the mind and body that needed to be rescued by a man. The separate releases of The Night of the Living Dead 1968 and 1990 exhibit the difference in society perspective of women and their capabilities from the late 1960s to 1990. Resident Evil portrays a heroine as more capable than her male counterparts in battling the zombie threat, but with emphasis on her physical female traits. The current running television show, The Walking Dead from 2010, depicts a diverse exhibition of gender roles that range from a regression to a nearly equal status. However, like the revamped character of 1990, Night of the Living Dead, Barbara, the only way for women in The Walking Dead to achieve nearly the same respect as their male counterparts, the heroine must be defeminized or paired with a stronger man. The most recent film, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, breaks the masculinized picture of strong and capable women by portraying young and beautiful zombie huntresses as the heroines of the film in their traditional Victorian dress. The evolution of feminism in zombie films can be observed through the decades of cinema and the steadily building prevalence of heroines. So, yes. I would take a wife that kicks more ass than me any day. All right, I respect that, Rose. I am down for that. So, is there anything else that we need to break down? I really did try and keep up with it while I was reading it, so it was less me reading you the straight facts and more of me reading the facts, explaining them, and going into relatable topics, tangents, what have you. I do happen to kick all of the ass. So, questions, comments, concerns? Is there anything that you would like to bring up to me? Is there something that you... Thanks, Renegade. Is there something that you know that maybe I can research a little more on? I am always into hearing more ideas. I never stop learning. Never. I'm going to get my PhD just because I want to learn more. I want to study more. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes for everybody to gather their thoughts, maybe make some comments. RBG was a badass. Go Ruth. I'm still a little heartbroken. I mean, yes, we all knew it was coming. But I'm still under the impression that Dame Maggie Smith is immortal and she will never leave me. So I am going to look into Warhammer. Renegade. I am going to look into Warhammer. But as I have told you a million, thousand times, thousand million times, whatever, here, have this. So you know, it is already on my to-read list, but it is also kind of at the bottom of my to-read list because I have like 50 more books in front of it. And that's also behind the series that I'm continuing to read. Dame Maggie Smith is the best. Like, she is never going to leave. And if she does leave, I will be a mess for the rest of my life because she is my heroine. I look up to her so much. It's ridiculous. Anyone else have any heroines that they look up to? Anything like that? Like I said, I'll give you guys a couple minutes, come up with a question, come up with a comment, come up with something else that I can look into. Yes, Renegade, I will look into Warhammer. I will. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm looking at my notifications. Mass, thank you for gifting Renegade his new subscription. Appreciate that. I am not really familiar with She-Ra at all, so. Basker, I am so glad that was, hello, hi, Poganator. I'm gonna go with Ponganator. I'm sorry, I read Pog all the time, so. Ponganator, hello. Basker, I'm really glad that you were raised that way. I was not. I do have a hat. It is normally my tri-corner hat, but I wanted to be sassy and have one corner. So, once you start, you won't be able to. That's usually how it is with me in series Renegades, so I believe you. I believe a lot. The new series of She-Ra has broken many of the norms of female protagonists. I love it. That's great. That's on Netflix, right? I think I've seen it a few times, like pop up on my daughter's Netflix. So, I will fall through the looking glass. I will check it out. But yeah, my niece is a huge fan. I'm glad she's a huge fan. So this is really one of those this is one of those episodes that I was really excited about. Like, I'm talking about a lot of topics and ideas that relate to our culture and society as a whole, but things that are found in literature. So, yes, everybody, I obviously stream video games. I love video games. I usually play anywhere from 8 to 14 hours in a day. But I'm also a huge book nerd and cinema everywhere. I love cinema and music. In case you weren't aware, literature is considered anything that a human creates. So like drawing, painting, singing, dancing, video games, books, everything. Everything that we create from our imagination is considered literature. And I am a huge consumer of all of it. I am not great at all of it. You guys can determine from my earlier pieces of prose work if you think that I'm any good at it. If you guys want to challenge me on writing, please submit prompts to me. If you want, you can put it in my suggestion box that's on my channel, or if you're a little more, if you want it to be a little more private, you can message me directly on Twitter or here on Twitch. I will see it and I will do my best to go with it. Look up Eva Cassidy. I will look up Eva Cassidy. I'm writing that down. This is my Between the Pages notebook. It's Lord of the Rings. By the way, everybody, I don't know if Sun is here. Sun was upset that he missed the reveal. I ripped off my bandage on Tuesday, and look how beautiful that is. I'm so in love. I am so in love with this. I love it so much. I love it. Every last bit of it. Anyway. I am an IRL librarian. This backdrop is fake, but I have more books on my shelves than this backdrop portrays. I have 500 plus. I really need to get them cataloged. I'm a horrible librarian because I have not been cataloging them. But once I get that done, yay! By Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth? Okay. I talk about books on Thursdays, Pong. I love talking about books. Every other day of the week, I'm usually streaming Destiny, or we've been really getting into Among Us. We did Diablo a couple weeks ago, Diablo 3. Actually, what am I going to play today, guys? Think about what I'm going to play. I'll love it. I bought 3 books lately after not reading. Oh, what did you buy, Pong? I would really like to know. I'm also thinking about doing kind of an in-depth book recommendation tailored to whomever wants a recommendation. And what it's going to be is I will publicly talk to the person. I have at least 20 questions that I ask a person before I make a book recommendation, because books are very personal. Like, I have my favorites. I have my absolute favorites go to. I will always recommend it to somebody, but that doesn't mean that they're going to like it. So I ask like 20 questions to narrow down what type of literature someone's looking for, what theme. I love historical fiction. Holy crap. I'm huge into historical fiction. I'm a history nerd. I'm a nerd about everything, guys. Like, is there anything you guys can think of that I'm not a nerd of? Besides WoW. WoW does not count. I have just, it's really unprecedented and really undeserved hatred for that entire thing. So, my bad. I love you guys. Sorry. There are 15 of you now. Holy crap. So, I'm actually just going to look up the TWAB. I will be back, guys. If you want to hear This Week at Bungie, please stick around. Discord DMs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone, thanks for stopping by, listening to me go on and on about literature stuff and my own personal works. Yes, thank you. I am so sorry. I did not know that you were asking for my server. Shake, I'm pretty sure you're in my Discord already, so that doesn't count. But yes, please stick around, everybody. Thank you for the new follows. I appreciate it. Papa, Massmian for giving Renegade a new subscription. Love it. And I will catch you guys in a little